Welcome to College Football Time with Avery Miguel. As you can see, I'm wearing the Army hoodie, but that's not because I rooted for Army. It's because I haven't had a Navy midshipman gear yet, but my partner Avery Jones has it here once again. Avery, yep, there we go. There we go. How's it going? How are you?
It's good. Happy Monday, everyone. Even though the very definition of seasonal depression has arrived in Florida with cloudy skies and very difficult visibility of no sunshine, it is a wonderful Monday. It is a wonderful Monday, and I hope everyone's having a good Monday as well.
Yeah, like I'm a firm believer that it doesn't matter if it's sunny, cloudy, rainy, snow. That's all blessings from Hashem, the man above. We are blessed. Um, to be up, to be alive, to have strength. We have arms, legs, hands, nose. We got to be thankful for every little thing that we had today. So Avery, you know, I was shocked. You were shocked, and that is University of Utah football head coach Kyle Whittingham. He is stepping down after 21 seasons. He announced it on Friday, but he will coach his last game for the Las Vegas Bowl, which will be on December 31st against Nebraska. He said that the time is right to leave. And he also said that it's been an honor and a privilege to lead the program for 21 years. And basically, he thanked everyone throughout the journey. So he's the second longest tenure head coach in college football behind Iowa's Kirk Ferentz, who has been the coach for 27 years. So my question to you, Avery, is do you think that Kyle's stepping down because he's going to explore other options, other coaching opportunities? Is there something that we don't know? Or I don't know, what is your whole reaction to this news?
The reaction was a shock, especially pretty much anything during this college football season has been a shock from, expectations of teams to teams actually firing coaches to, you know, just, you know, just flat out surprises every single week. So this is probably up there as far as surprises because Coach Whittingham has turned Iowa into a powerhouse of a college program. And if you think about it, 21 years, so you're talking about he got hired in 2004. If you want to think of things in a compounded aspect. Coach Whittingham has been in college football, if you want to think about it, for three generations. We're not talking about like our generations of, you know, Gen Z, millennial. I'm talking about football generations. I'm talking about like literally 5 to 15 year spans where you have players come into your school to either they're redshirting, they're there on scholarship, or they're a walk-on and they want to make that impact. And Coach Winningham has seen it, since 2004. So he's also seen the changes that college football is making. Now, the idea that he could be exploring more options, if that's the case, I at least applaud him for making the announcement, it not being, in a way the spectacle of Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss. The interesting part is he's coaching the Las Vegas Bowl on New Year's Eve. Generally on New Year's Eve, we look back at the year, what happened to lead into a new year of new expectations, of new goals, of new plans that we want to do. So if Coach Whittingham is doing that, I applaud him that he wants to end on a good note with his program. Now, if he feels, kind of like Nick Saban did, I've done everything I could. I've seen, college football change. It is a business to say, you know what? I'm happy. And there's nothing wrong with being happy at the top, So, like I said, he's done very well at Utah. I mean the alumni that probably has their handprint from Coach Whittingham, is stellar in and of itself. So even if he just says, you know what, I did good, I'm happy. I'm happy for those young men that are playing in the NFL. I'm happy for the young men that have, degrees and considered, more, learning options who even if professional football wasn't their go to. They have become great members of society. Even if that's the aspect, I mean, sometimes hey, go out on your own terms. If you want to go out on your own terms and not let it be because it's all about dollars, it is. But here's the thing, if it is for other coaching opportunities, I would be very interested in where he goes because the work that he has put in at Utah, I think any college, if that is what he so wants, would be absolutely lucky and blessed to have him.
I mean, we're talking about a team that went 10-2 this year, and it's only the eighth time during his tenure with the team that they have won at least 10 games. He finishes with 18 winning seasons, three conference titles, two appearances in the Rose Bowl, a prestigious event, as we both said it before, and two top five finishes in the AP poll. So it's been a very successful career with Utah, and wherever he goes from here, we wish him nothing but the best. But 21 seasons is very hard to find nowadays of coach sticking around for so long. But moving on, Avery, the classic rivalry, Army versus Navy. Avery, everything that I saw before the game was giving me goosebumps. A national anthem, just the whole tradition. I mean, nobody does it like the.
It's interesting because the Army Navy game is literally the last college football game before we go into bowl season, or if bowl games may start that day, which they did. But I agree with you, just the ambiance of the Army Navy game. It's kind of one of those traditions that even if you have no ties to it, this is the game is just special. The game is just special. And for me, I have a personal connection for my cousin and a best friend who served. I actually did want to serve. My uncle actually was Army, and I work with some wonderful drivers at Walmart who are former veterans as well. So having this interesting connection, for this game and seeing how it has evolved over the years, that it is an American staple. It is something that, even though it's football, we still want to sit down and watch an Army Navy game. We want to see a great football game from two schools where afterwards, once their football careers are over, these young men are going to defend us. They are going to defend, freedom. They are going to defend our country when they go into service. So there's always something special about an Army Navy game. And the game Saturday definitely did not disappoint. I mean, if you want a movie script, it had a movie script vibe to it and a movie script layout to it. You had this wonderful introduction. You had, the slow build. You had, the turning of the tide for one team and then the turning of the other tide for another team, and then, that last second win, if you will. But every year an Army Navy game is just special.
Hmm. Sorry, guys. Let's take a little sip of tea here, as I'm recovering from the cold. But second year in a row, Navy won the Commander-in-Chief trophy. You had so many things going. You had, I mean, this game mostly came down to the running game, both sides. You had Donald Trump flipping the coin toss before the game, and then in halftime going across. You know, there was just a lot of respect in the building, a lot of respect, a lot of admiration for the servicemen and women. Army had momentum in the second quarter. At one point, they scored 16 unanswered points on Navy, but then Navy's defense showed up in the second half. And then, of course, the game winner, the fourth down play with less than 7 minutes to go. That really sealed the deal. But it's just Army versus Navy. Like I said, as I got older, I've grown to appreciate it more. 126th edition, and it didn't disappoint. It didn't disappoint. So, but God bless these servicemen and women. I'll forever say that. God bless each and every one of them.
Absolutely. Here, here.
So, Avery, as we know, is bowl season, and there's one game. Well, there's two games. Speaking of, servicemen and women, this event is called the IS Forest Salute to Veterans Bowl, which will be tomorrow. Troy versus Jacksonville State at 9 p.m. and it'll be played at Montgomery, Alabama. So there's that one. But then, of course, I got to mention, you know, people from Florida like yourself. Old Dominion versus South Florida, which will be on Wednesday at 5 p.m. and it will be played at Orlando, Florida, at the Camping World Stadium. It will be on televised on ESPN, and that one is called the Staff DNA Cure Bowl. So yeah, there's that. I'm going with South Florida on that one. As for Troy versus Jacksonville, I'm gonna say Troy will take it on the road.
Actually, that could be, kind of one of those under the radar bowls with Troy and Jacksonville State. If you remember a couple years ago, Jacksonville State had got that great upset win against Florida State. I think even though both teams, if you're like a diehard college football fan, you would be familiar with teams. But if you're kind of just catching bowl games, to have that, we still have that need for football, even though it's not on a weekend, we can have football during the week now. Um, I think it'd be really good to check out Troy and Jacksonville State. And I'm going to go with Jacksonville State on that one. They are favored by 4, but the over-under is 42. But I'm going to go with Jacksonville State on that one, 25 to 20 for Jacksonville State.
Nice. And how about Old Dominion and South Florida?
Oh, that's going to be South Florida all the way. University of South Florida is in Tampa. They're playing in Orlando, which is literally 45 minutes west. Excuse me, 45 minutes east on I-4. So I think the South Florida contingent, whether it be alumni or family or students or anyone who just can make it up to Orlando to catch the game. I think that's going to be South Florida all the way. But like anything, don't count out their opponent, Old Dominion. They've been picking pieces of teams away this entire football season, which got them a bowl win. So hopefully the South Florida Bulls do not take Old Dominion lightly. but I'm gonna go with South Florida on this one. South Florida 37, Old Dominion 27.
All right. Well, that does it for college football. Tom Avery Miguel. Um, Hopefully we can come back here on Thursday so we could talk about some of those games that were played on Tuesday and Wednesday, as well as previews for because there will be more bowl games later on Thursday night, and we have Friday. So yeah, let's try to do our best to try to get on Thursday morning and to do a recap and also preview because bowl season is
Yeah.
officially here.
And those first round of bowl games, the first one is Friday night, and then you have the rest of them on Saturday. So we're now in the thick of it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the countdown. So starting Friday, we are going to count down to a national champion come the middle of January. So definitely stay tuned for us. Definitely stay tuned to see what we think about not only these bowl games, but also how these teams are going to be prepared and play for this entire season.